look, I'm 43 years old. I'm fat and I'm overweight. Who am I gonna fight? Really, be honest.
Fight fans, welcome back.
Well, greatness is when you make your delusions your reality. Something that's just totally unbelievable to the human's imagination.
Until now, the pre-fight build-up
Mike
felt somewhat
Tyson.
manufactured. Jake's been pushing buttons.
There's a reason why I have the same birthday as Customato, because I'm gonna teach you how to box, Mike.
And Mike, so far, has refused to bite.
I can't even get mad at this guy because everybody...
Bro, he don't want to scare him, all right? That is the reason why Mike Tyson is not going Iron Mike Tyson on Jake Paul, bro. He doesn't want to scare him. But I'm telling you now, coming fight week, dude, he's going to turn into Mike Tyson, dog.
It all seems like fun and games, right? Sure, at least for now.
Jake Paul. Jake Paul.
But if Jake Paul does cross the line, even by an inch, this friendly setup, bubble-wrapped in fight night stipulations, could quickly devolve into chaos.
Mike Tyson is a caged animal who at any moment can explode into a murderous rage.
After all, this is the same man that took swipes at police.
Yeah. Yep.
And lunged at his bitter rival before the biggest fight of their lives.
Whoa. Shit.
Tyson evicting Jake Paul's soul from his body is the outcome the majority seem to be hoping for.
Mike Tyson's not losing to him. I can promise you that, Skip.
So here we look at 10 reasons that Mike could pull off the most satisfying victory in boxing history. Welcome to a Motivedia presentation.
Jake needs these guys. Jake needs Tyson.
Bro, look, the reason why I believe in Mike Tyson is because Mike Tyson knows the mechanics, bro. He's been doing this shit since he was a kid, bro. Since he was a teen. Since he was like 12. He's been doing this shit since... He knows the mechanics. He knows boxing, bro. He's a real fucking fighter, man. Alright? And this is why. He's a real warrior. And that's why I believe Mike Tyson is going to beat Jake Paul, bro. Jake Paul... Mike Tyson said one of the coldest lines. Alright. And that line, dude. Shit. That line, dude. That made me want to be interested in this fight.
Tyson needs all these other people because everybody's going to tune in to hope that Mike Tyson knocks him out.
Right.
They're not tuning in because they think Jake Paul's a great fighter and they want to see him compete. Jake fought a guy who was his age and who was also considered a boxer, and he lost.
So far, Jake has mainly feasted on an appetite of retired MMA fighters and non-boxers. When he did cross the line, albeit marginally in February last year, Tommy Fury showed the difference.
It's all a joke. I'm ending you February 26th, and you already know it.
In the dressing rooms. I want clean fight, okay? Touch glove, good glove.
Cautious of any return fire, Jake found himself excessively hurting, clinching, and a lot more hesitant at range.
Yep.
Little children. He didn't knock out Tommy Fury.
Tyson has spent a career in this position, being clung on to for dear life by fearful opponents.
He's just going to continue to hold until he physically forces him out. Can't say I blame him.
Oof.
He will cut angles on the inside
Whoa.
a lot more effectively than Fury. And if you put Mike in Tommy's place for that flurry at the end of round one, things probably end a lot differently.
A good left hand as well that got through. The first meaningful shots of the fight landed right at the end of the round.
I don't know, I feel like that's kind of disrespectful of Jake. He's saying he wants to be a real boxer, but he's challenging these retired fighters, or this is like the first real boxer he really fought. Tommy Fury don't really.
I was like hunkered over and I was like by his hip.
And, dude. And he lost to Tommy Fury. Even though Tommy Fury is... He's a boxer, but he's not the greatest boxer out there, man.
So opens his glove and puts his hand over my mouth.
When Jake's brother fought Floyd Mayweather back in 2021, He was surprised at all the subtle intricacies and veteran moves that kept Floyd one step ahead.
He knew where the ref was. He knew to cover my mouth. Straight up in the middle of the fight, I'm like, and I get up and I'm like, what the fuck? I just missed 2 breaths.
Mid-fight game changers, some barely noticeable that you can't really prepare for.
In my head, I'm like,
Shit.
holy fucking shit, this is like one of those old school boxing tricks that you like hear about. And I missed the breath. I got up. Whoa, that was crazy. And I'm sure he's got 1,000 of those up his sleeve.
We're getting to see strange things happen in boxing.
As another elite level operator, Mike has seen it all before.
Yup.
Against bigger, stronger, and more dangerous men.
A dirty Mike Tyson.
So whether it's some of those questionable tactics on the inside, or whether it's an ability to throw
Oof.
off Jake's game plan and make him fight scared, it's almost certain that Tyson will have a trick or two up his sleeve.
It's all about the experience of being in the ring, fighting. It's all about getting comfortable with the ring. That's what experience is about.
Oof.
For Tyson. If he wins, like, people are going to thank him. Thank you for ending this charade, they're going to say.
The strongest I've ever seen you.
Yeah?
Yeah, the strongest I've ever, and I know you since you're 13.
We've heard it a million times that power is the last thing to go.
Yup. Yup. That is true, brother. Power is the last thing that goes, man.
Kick some ass. There's no doubt about it.
And whilst it's debatable, it has been proven in certain cases by some age-defiant veterans of the past.
Yup.
I'm proud of myself, and it's showing the world that the age 50 is not a death sentence for an athlete. You can pursue excellence as long as you want, not when people say it.
So where Mike's danger factor remains, Jake's margin for error, especially early on, is...
Yup.
What happens when Jake Paul gets in trouble against a real-life killer?
Additionally, the problem child is certainly not without flaws. He's faced criticism surrounding his footwork and displayed a tendency to drop his hands.
Yeah, look at that shit, man. I'm telling you, he still has flaws because he and I'm gonna be honest, he's always gonna have flaws. He's always gonna have those flaws. Every time he fights, those flaws are gonna be exposed because he hasn't done this since he was a kid, man. So there's a difference, brother. It's a difference.
Half the time, half your knockouts, your eyes just closed. You just throwing a haymaker. That shit ain't working on Mike Tyson, man.
So if Jake doesn't take this quite as seriously as he should, or suffers a split-second lapse of concentration, it's curtains on November 15th.
Oh, shit.
Finally, I know he's much older than him, but is naturally the bigger guy.
In his move up to heavyweight,
The extra
Jake
weight.
will be coming in 20 pounds heavier than usual.
Oh, that could actually, pay a part of the plan. Jake comes 20 pounds heavier. He might gas out faster. He might be a little slower, because of the extra weight. And, he might fatigue a lot quicker. So those are two concerns that Jake can have.
And I'm only growing, I think I'll get up to 240 and then probably cut down so I'm like way faster.
The 220-pound version won't look as ripped and won't be as mobile as the man who faced Mike Perry. And whilst his punches will undoubtedly carry a little more thud, the power doesn't often follow fighters upwards quite as dramatically as they expect.
And Jake Paul is about 200 pounds. He's got about 20 pounds.
Are you kidding me? He's only 200? Oh, gee. This is worse than I thought.
That was his last fight.
First on the scales, the most famous athlete in the world, Mike Tyson.
Weight-wise, Tyson will be roughly the same.
Yeah, I mean, he's still going to be the same weight as he was. It's just the age factor that's going to be affecting whether, but if he still has some of that left, maybe we could see a tiny bit of it.
But his body is used to maneuvering at this weight.
Yep.
Used to handling far bigger and stronger frames than Jake's.
But the first thing I notice is he's built like a beast man. He just looked like he weighs 300 pounds, but he's short, but he's tall. He's like a giant dwarf.
He's like a giant dwarf. Mother.
Another factor that aids the older, more experienced fighter is timing.
Well, the old Tyson's not completely gone, is he? He bites the
Punch resistance, speed, and reflexes certainly won't favor the 58-year-old.
Yep.
Crafty veterans are able to predict movements, force mistakes, and capitalize.
Yeah, man, that's I'm telling you, that fighter, man, that fighter mentality. Once you're in the zone and you've been doing that for such a long time, you figure out, you find other ways, to beat your opponents, man. He could, for example, yeah, just like the guy said right here, he could predict what Jake Paul does. Like, he could predict where his head's gonna be, throw a punch and catch him. You never know, bro. Mike Tyson's, he's seen it all,
He's been in there with the best. He knows what it takes, and Jake Paul, he's too inexperienced, I think. I think Mike Tyson is going to catch him and stop him.
So even if Jake carries his weight well and comes in razor sharp, Tyson will make his own moments count.
He has the size to cause... Oh, there he is. Punch in the side of Tyson.
He still has that, where he can weave, he can slip, he can create the openings to give himself the possibility to unload a bomb on your chin and get you out of there.
Mike's always been one of the best students of the game since his tutelage under Cus D'Amato. So with a built-in calmness and ability to think under pressure, he'll also know when to pounce and how to catch Jake crossing his feet.
Hey, let me just be honest, he's improved a lot. Yes, he did improve a lot. But he's not going to have a good night when he fights me on July 20th.
Mike was throwing hard shots, devastating shots to Roy's body. Again, I was living the 1980s through this 50-year-old Mike Tyson. I wasn't able to be around at that time, so this is my opportunity to live that now.
When Mike fought Roy Jones back in 2020, a no-knockout clause left a lot of people underwhelmed.
I really wanted the old Tyson that he's like, I haven't slept with my wife in a year because I don't care if I live or die. That's the Tyson I wanted to see. I wanted to see him to be ferocious.
The muscle memory was evident for both, but many felt that Mike could have ended it whenever he wanted.
He still has that sort of...
Oh, yeah. Holy shit. I didn't know that. Oh, my. I thought he didn't knock him out just because he wasn't able to knock him out. Just because he wasn't able to. I didn't know there was a no knockout clause. Wow. Because there was times where Tyson could have finished him. But I'm like, maybe it's just because he's older. He just doesn't have it anymore. That edge. But it turns out it turns out that actually he has the edge. He could have fucking... if the fight could have been different, man, if that clause wasn't in there, dude. Holy damn, I didn't... That changes a little bit the perception of that fight for me, because maybe that clause was a reason why, Mike Tyson didn't pull the trigger.
That's the Tyson I wanted to see. I wanted to see him to be ferocious.
Wow.
The muscle memory was evident for both, but many felt that Mike could have ended it whenever he wanted.
He still has that sort of innate power. When he went at Roy Jones' body, he was rocking his body. And Roy Jones woke up on Sunday morning a sore, older man at 51 years of age.
Absolutely.
But the referee tell me, let him go. You think I'm finna let this crazy man go?
He was not letting it happen.
Listen, have you seen what his uppercut has done to people twice my size?
Bobbing and weaving his way in, finding angles, only to pull his punches when in range.
Yeah, man. It's just difficult. It's just so hard for Roy Jones Jr. because his style, it's just, he cannot translate his style at that age, man. His style, he needs to be young. He needs to be a young Roy Jones for his style, man. For it to translate, man. Because his style with his age is just, it's not there. He was all about reflexes, footwork, athleticism, all that, and just, reactions and all that stuff, and just age takes all that away from you.
Angles, only to pull his punches when in range.
That's two hard right hands dug into the body by Mike Tyson.
The post-fight recollections, however, where Roy credits just how dangerous and switched on Mike is, even at this age, makes you question what version Jake might actually be fighting.
Do you not fear a little bit for Mike and how old he is?
No, I don't fear for Mike and how old he is. Mike's a very rugged guy. You know, when I was in there with Mike, Mike still was hard to hit, and Mike still can hit hard as hell. That's the real question. How much can Jake survive? That's the real question.
Does that get you nervous, thinking about like the fight getting closer?
It's a good nervous.
There we go.
Excited, but with a slight bit of worry, yeah.
Fortunately, Tyson versus Paul doesn't have a no knockout stipulation that we know of.
Fuck.
Jake Paul isn't Roy Jones.
Yeah, this better not be.
So he hits him, he's going down. You think he knocks him out over there? I don't know. I don't know how nice Mike will be, but if the killer Mike goes in there, yeah, he's putting him down.
Come on, Mike.
So whilst everything we've seen so far has felt relatively manufactured, the second it's not, and the moment it steps a little bit beyond the confines of entertainment,
I better see that fucking killer Mike in there. I swear to God. I better see Mike's face be this right here. All right, I want to see that face. Hold up. Hold up. Look at that face. That's the face that I want to see from Mike Tyson. That right there is what I want to see. All right. I don't want to see Mike smiling, walking down that goddamn ramp, doing the walkout. I don't want to see him smiling at the crowd, you know, being cheerful. I want to see him just concentrated and just zoned in, focused. I want him just to walk in that fucking, do that walkout. That one walkout where he just walks in with the goddamn towel. That's it. Wow. Bring that back.
is the moment things get a lot more interesting.
You know, I have to be the mean guy in order for me to perform the way I perform. I just have to have that aura.
Yeah, then that's what we gotta see, Mike. This ain't Roy Jones Jr. Alright. This is fucking Jake Paul, brother. Finish him.
Mike, you're jumping around, you seem to be a little anxious. I'm just ready to get it on and crush this guy's skull.
The respect is there, but Tyson won't be taken for a fool. So whether we see a genuine mean streak revival from the man who used to target his opponent's nose bone with gruesome intentions could make all the difference.
What is that feeling like when you f***ing take your fist and you f***ing pound someone to the point that they pass out?
It's like drugs. It's like drugs. It gives you everything you want.
Yes.
But it takes back so much more in return.
Fighters are different than any other human being on earth. And the greats, the best of the best, that's who they are. That's how they're built to the core.
Expanding on the power retention theory, and despite being a shell of his former self, Jake has still never been hit by someone who punches like Mike.
Yep.
So that's why when he got in that ring, he had to show Mike right away. If you're scared of Mike, he will demolish.
Right, as soon as he sees it.
As soon as
fucking bleed like a pit bull.
Silva, Perry, and Woodley could all crack, but MMA power and boxing power just aren't the same.
So
yeah, they're different.
To get really, really great at
they're really different, man.
Addressing the clinch and grappling, which would be a much more higher yield use of your time. So that's why I think MMA fighters generally grapple better than they strike. It's because it's smart for them to do that.
The technique and skill required to land the
Wait, what?
Which really great.
And boxing power just aren't the same.
So the time you spent to get really, really great at striking would be time not spent addressing the clinch and grappling, which would be a much more higher yield use of your time. So that's why I think MMA fighters generally grapple better than they strike. It's because it's smart for them to do that.
The technique and skill required to land the punches quite as effectively,
except for Ili Tupurian,
is what's missing.
But where the boxers excel is the art of boxing, being able to land those punches in the right spots at the right time.
Tommy had ways of setting his power up, and Jake didn't like it.
Good start to the round here from Tommy Fury.
So if or when Mike actually lands clean on Jake, even in 16-ounce gloves, the problem child might be in some trouble of his own.
All Iron Mike Tyson needs to do is look as good or better than Tommy Fury. to give Jake Paul some huge problems.
Mm.
It's all over. All this party's over, and then we're not gonna have this much fun again.
Some sort of shape to be able to deal with this kid. He's convinced it happens, and like Mike can choose his time whenever he wants, and it'll be that easy.
A good game plan, packing on extra size in hope of beating Mike at his own game muscle, especially
choose his time whenever he wants, and it'll be that easy.
A good game plan, especially when the stakes are high, can make all the difference. But if a larger and more muscle-bound Jake Paul is packing on extra size in hope of beating Mike at his own game, then he might be barking up the wrong tree.
Mike Tyson is pretty straightforward technique to counter him, and to me that's exciting and gives me a lot of confidence.
Wow. Jake Paul really thinks he can counter Mike Tyson.
Instead, his best interests lie in the deeper waters of this 8-round showcase.
What Jake Paul gonna do if Tyson hits him in the body?
I think the only thing Jake is probably banking on is taking Tyson in deep waters because he's older. That's the only thing I can see.
For Mike, it's quite the opposite. Those 5-second training snippets, despite being impressive, aren't realistic, and they don't tell the full story.
Those tiny little 3-second clips. Anyone can look good for 3-second clips, especially someone like Mike Tyson.
Yep.
What they do show, however, is Tyson's path to victory, and that's a split-second burst of something Jake's never really seen.
Ooh, yep. That's all he needs, man. In reality, Mike Tyson, all he needs is 3 seconds.
Gave him a massive ovation. The Tyson phenomenon is still alive.
Tell us what you think is going to happen in this fight and where you think it's leading for you.
Well, I'm in great shape, and I'm just looking forward to doing some serious damage.
Mike wouldn't come into the fight if he had nothing to offer, but helping to guide Ngannou to that success against Tyson Fury will remind him of what can be done using that all-important element of surprise.
No matter how the fight goes, let's don't
Yep.
forget, this can't really fight.
And similarly, all the pressure will be falling onto the shoulders of his opponent.
It's gonna be a firefight, more punches, and it's gonna be a sprint in there. So I think it's more entertaining for the fans.
The majority feel that the opening 60 seconds is Mike's window to capitalize. So in that respect, it's just like the Mike Tyson fights of old. You need to get your popcorn ready, drink in hand, and just don't blink.
Ooh, there you go, man. And look, dude, I do believe Mike Tyson is capable of beating what's his name? Jake Paul, bro. Because all he needs is literally give him 3-4 seconds. And something Jake Paul has never experienced. Let's see how he deals with that. But yeah, man, I'm telling you now, Mike Tyson's gonna knock him out.